AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand.
Good morning. Welcome to Views from AmandaLand. It is Tuesday, May 13th. How? Honestly, y'all. How is it May? When did this happen? Can anyone tell me? When did it happen that it's May? I saw this morning that Theo Von, who I don't consider to be some type of like smart person, but he decided that he was going and by the way, you know, his podcast is like very well known and famous because I feel like that's kind of the picture of a lot of podcasts these days. They're not necessarily big because they're smart, but nonetheless, he did a post. He did a part of his podcast talking about the genocide. And I'm just like, I mean, okay. Again, I'm not going to gatekeep. But you're just like, so y'all finally, this is when, okay. All right. Well, yeah, it is a genocide. It was a genocide on October 8th. It was a genocide in 1948. So, yeah. But we have to talk about things like this today because there's an interesting shift happening around Izzy and how the world is responding, like on a political level, I guess. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about these, I call them refunizers. The South Africans have arrived in the United States, which I find hilarious. We're going to talk about Burkina Faso. So we've got a lot to get into today. And we also have a guest. So we have a guest, Nehemiah Ray. We're going to be talking about how involving nature in raising kids, but also in just like fighting fear, etc., like how nature shapes us. So I'm super excited to have that conversation. That's why I'm wearing my shirt with the animals, y'all. I'm wearing my animal shirt. So, yeah. So we're doing all of that. All of that is going down today. So thank you. Remember, this is Views from AmandaLand, your news and truths by any joke necessary, Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We are live. Join us in the chat, and we can get involved. Yes, Diana Craig, Burkina Faso definitely gives me 90s. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Ooh, I absolutely agree with that. So we got a lot going on. And I'm not fully prepared because I wanted to actually start the show. But I am almost prepared. So we are close to prepared. How have you guys been doing today? What is on your minds? How is your Tuesday? Have you been, has any stories come across your path that made you say, well, hold on now? Because I would also love to get hip to what those are so that I can make sure to include those. Let me also tell you that I will be doing a new drop shortly where the Harriet pins will be available, as well as the Harriet pistol patches. The Harriet pistol patches will also be available. Yeah. So looking forward to blessing you all with those. And I am also releasing postcards called Ancestor Calling Cards. So it'll be a set of 3, and I am excited about those. So we're going to get into it. Those will be dropping on Monday. Okay? Those are going to be dropping on Monday. So all 3 of those will be dropping on Monday, and this is going to be a very interesting week for me. So I'm going to tell you on Monday how the week ends, but I'm making a big career decision this week. Tiffany DeJesus, you can volunteer for my next one-woman show when I submit. I'm going to post for volunteer submissions. So I'll post that into Patreon. S. James, you like the Mother's Day cards? Thank you so much. You know what? So one person ordered 3 Mother's Day card boxes, and so I had to put it in a different package than I put anyone else's in. Do you know that one person had rain, and the package that I used apparently was not waterproof from the post office? So now I got to send them 3 new packages. One package. I'm so mad. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Yes, Miriam, merch will be available at the May 31st show at the People's Forum. So I am doing that show for free and completely free. Like, the People's Forum is not paying me. I'm not charging for tickets. And so the ways that you'll be able to support will be via merch and or meet and greet. So you can get the meet and greet like ticket while we're there. So that will be how you can support my work. There will also be, I have to talk to my accountant about the proper way for donations to be taken if people want to donate. So Dakara, yes, we do ship across the pond now. And for this shipment, we are going to be able to. And I am working on an even better setup for that we are in the process of doing. So, Joni, I am working on figuring out how to do a live stream for the show. So that is also something that I am working on doing. So there's a lot of things I'm working on doing, but it's not as, what's the word I'm looking for, as streamlined as I would like it to be, because things be like all over the place in terms of where you get information from. So glad you enjoyed your pin, Celine, and I love that you kept it for yourself. Patricia said the pin is so pretty. My mom and I love it. I didn't have to steal hers. I got my own. Yay! That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So we are going to be joined today to talk about nature. And I spent yesterday planting, and I got to tell y'all, it was really good for me. And you know how they be like, you know, you need to go out in the plants. You know, you need to go out and get into the nature. It's going to change your energy. It really is not BS. Like, it really is not BS. And I have to say that I feel like I'm getting older. And so I feel like I trust these things way more than I did when I was younger. I don't know why, but I think part of it is because when you're younger, it's just like there's so much coming at you to influence you that is like right in your face. And so it's easier to just listen to that. And I'm really glad that I'm growing and maturing to a point where I understand now that it's like, no, a lot of that is in your face because it's propaganda. You're going to have to find the other stuff, the deeper stuff in the trees. You're going to have to find it in the trees, boo. So, y'all, look for the trees, okay? Look for the trees. I also have an update today about Burkina Faso and the headline that I told y'all was BS yesterday. I knew it was BS, and I was right. So I am going to hip you to what the real tea is on that. Okay, so that's all the stuff we have coming up today. Let's get into it. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, 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 oh. Let's start the show. Oh, oh, oh. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. We actually had a replay person say they're from West Virginia. Adding it to the map. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. Big up to Flatbush, Brooklyn. Hold on, where is it? Manhattan, Tulum, Mexico, Washington, D.C. You got them South Afrikaners in there today. Let's see how they handle things. Stockholm, Sweden. Durham, North Carolina. Paris, London, UK. Baltimore, Maryland. Columbia, South Carolina. Aurora, Colorado. Carmen's in Latil, Tejas. Dana's in Atlanta. We also got Manchester in the building. We got Do or Die, Best Die, book. We got Bay Area, California, Newport Beach, California, San Diego, California. We all up and down California. And then in New York, we got Rock City, New York. We got, that would be Rock City, New York. Is that Rochester? I don't know. What's Rock City, New York? I don't know. But we definitely got Massachusetts. We got Puerto Rico. We got Staten Island, New York. We got Violet in South Africa. Okay, it is Rochester. We got Pueblo, Colorado. We got Leesburg, Virginia. We got Staten Island, New York. Why did I say it like that? New York. We got Indianapolis. We have Nebraska. Stop. We have India. Y'all. We have India! Wow! AmandaLanders here to learn. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. Yeah. We got India in the building, y'all. It's been really great to see some footage on the internet of people in India and in Pakistan not willing to go along with the media trying to drum up hate, trying to drum up, dissent, etc. They're like, no. Like, I saw literally someone walking around in Pakistan trying to get Pakistanis to burn an Indian flag. And they was like, no. Relax. Also, listen, partition was not that long ago. Like, so many people have family in Pakistan. So many people in Pakistan have family in India. Like, it's the same people. India and Pakistan is the same people. It's the same people. That partition was really set up by the British. Okay? That was Churchill in a room with them folks talking about it. And even though there are, of course, people from India and Pakistan who were like, okay, we want this, it still ends up being the people who end up being the result of, folks making decisions that aren't really in the best interest of the people. And a lot of people lost their lives during partition. A lot of them. And of course, it was based on religion, which, as far as I'm concerned, is not a real reason to be having separation at all. But that's another time, another conversation. So India is on the map. Now, India is massive. And the person said where in India they were from. Let's see if I can see it. Let's see if it's marked on the map. It is not. But I wish I knew like what region of India, because Punjabi is different than the South, it's a whole situation thing. And yes, John C., it is the most populous country in the world. So for now, I'm just going to put the pin right next to the word India. Okay. There we go. So we got India on the I'm so proud of us, y'all. We got India on the flipping map. Look at that. That's awesome. All right. And then we also got West Virginia. Okay, so Risha said Rishikesh is Uttarakhand. That helps me none. Can I get a region? Is it the north? Is it the south? Is it the east? Is it the west? Is it the central? That's what I need. That's what I need. Uttarakhand. I need a it's not as this map is not that detailed. So I need more of a region. A region. It's in the north, baby. It's in the north. Okay. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. All right. Now, let's put in our West Virginia. Bing! Yay! Oh, it's in the Himalayas. It's close to, all right. So let me put it close to Nepal. Cool. Oh my God. So every night when I was growing up, my mother would she had this book called The Student's Companion, and it was like a British book, and it was full of just like all these different facts, like the longest river in the world, the highest mountain in the world, state capitals, country capitals, like a lot of geography, etc. And my mom would test me on this, like literally I can't even remember a time when she wasn't testing me on this. So things like the Himalayas being in Nepal, being bordering Nepal, I'm like, oh, I know where that is. So a lot of times I just need you to give me a kind of like a geographical reference based on some type of geology or, climate. Like it's by the rainforest or it's close to the desert. And I'm like, oh, I know where that is. So there's that. Cecilia, you have the Student's Companion? Oh my God, I was able to find another one. Years back. So John C. knows the top 10 most populated countries in the world in order. I am impressed. I do not. I'm assuming the first two are India and China. Just at least let me know if I'm right about that. India, China. I don't know what the third one would be. Or maybe, no. Actually, it might be India, Bangladesh. It might be India, Bangladesh, China, actually. I take that back. Let me know if I'm even in the ballpark. Okay. Let me know if I'm even in the ballpark. So let's see. I'm waiting for John to tell me if I'm in the ballpark. In the meantime, in between India, China. Okay. I was right in the beginning. India, China, the U.S., Indonesia. I'm actually surprised the U.S. is number 3. The U.S., Indonesia, Pakistan, Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Russia, Mexico. All right. Google said the U.S. is number 1. That is absolute lies. Get out of here, Google. I can't really trust Google in the same way if they're willing to put the Gulf of America. So, you understand me? Like, I just can't. It's something I can't do. Okay. I want to shout out my homegirl, Karen Atia, who is a journalist and a writer at the Washington Post. She had a class that was going to be taught at Columbia, and it was race and hold on, because we were texting this morning and it's in here. I know it's in here. Okay, so she was going to be teaching a class at Columbia called Race, Media, and International Affairs, and then Columbia canceled the class. So then she said, you know what? I'm going to just do my own thing. And she started a resistance summer school. And in 48 hours, her class that she started sold out. 500 people have signed up, 2,000 people on the waiting list for her class. And I'm just so proud of her. So shout out to Karen Atia. Resistance Summer School went from being an idea to a sold out course. You can check out her episode on Small Doses, Side Effects of Journalism as Side Effects of Journalism. I can't remember the name of her episode, but it's really good. So make sure you check it out, Karen Atia. And this really inspired me as well to really lean into figuring out how to do this. I don't think I'm ready yet, but I'm, when you see, this is the thing. Like sometimes people see people do other things and they're like, man, they did it first, or man, how come they did something that I didn't think of? Instead, it's like, why don't you just let that inspire you? Like, let that inspire you. So that is inspiring me, and Karen inspires me all the time. So shout out to Karen Atia for just being that girl. Okay, for being that girl. I'm not sure where our guest is, so I'm going to have to send him the link again because I don't know. There he is, right there. Okay. Ray, how you gonna ask what time I need to be on and then be late? How that work? How does that work? All right. Y'all, let's get into our Level Us Up segment. AmandaLand. So our guest today, Nehemiah Ray, has a page on Instagram that I've fallen in love with called Ray's D Wild, and I want you to see some of it.
Feet. Good job. Stand up. You got it. You're good. You're good. Hey, don't panic. Give me your hand. Good. Fear is something that you don't need to let overcome you. You can be brave.
Don't scare him. Don't scare him. He can't do it like a ninja. What do you have, Cara?
Possum. No! It's a possum.
I kept the baby fox that I was called to remove from a house. So you know I had to bring it home to the boys. Is a fox in the canine family or the feline family?
Feline.
You are thinking the cat family?
Yes, I remember saying last time.
You all are both absolutely incorrect.
You all are both absolutely. I thought I was about to learn something. I was like, oh, wait. Where'd you go? I was like, oh my gosh, foxes are cats? Ray, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
Can we center you a little bit? Are
Oh,
we able to move,
yeah.
toggle? Oh, wait, hold on. No, you go. There. No. There we go.
All right, cool.
Good morning. Welcome to
Good morning.
from
Thank you so much for having me
AmandaLand.
over.
No, thank you for joining us. So I was showing the folks that, I wanted to show some of those clips because that's what really made me say, okay, it's time for you to come on the show. So we, on this show, talk about all types of things, politics, resistance, etc. But then it's also but you have to live within that. You have to live, you have to exist within that. And nature becomes such a big tool for literally just not simply just like managing your mental health or growing food, but literally watching you raise your kids with nature and teaching them life skills that are about emotion. That blew my mind, watching you with your son, like, calm down, center yourself, regulate on this log. And he did. So before I go any further, I want to remind you all that your email says, okay, get me together. Because your email is Nehemiah.
Yes, my name is Nehemiah Ray, right? Our brand is Raised Wild. So it's Raised Wild. Everything is raised wild, right? Like our sons are raised wild, our animals on the property are raised wild, our vegetables, everything is wild around here. And
Y'all, I said raised wild.
Don't worry, everybody does that. It's kind of
I feel so old. That's something my mama would do. Raised wild. Like, no, it's raised wild. Oh my God. Okay, I get it
You
now.
get it, like
I
our
get
last
it.
name is Ray, Amanda, and like it's okay. Yeah, got it.
But then when you have here Ray as your
Yeah.
name, I'm like, do you go by Ray?
Well, the reason Ray is on here is because I thought I've been here for like 10 minutes and I realized I wasn't in the link, so I just panicked and put my name real quick and so I could hop in.
Got you. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that the directions say press that button, click that enter the studio.
Yeah, it was on me. It was on me. That was on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you like me to refer to you? Nehemiah? Ray? What would you prefer? Because I'm not sure at this point. He froze. Damn. He froze. The the machines don't want us to win, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's back. You're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Am I referring to you as Nehemiah?
Yeah, Nehemiah. Call me Nehemiah.
Okay, Nehemiah. I was like, you got that long biblical name. I feel like that's the one that you want. Nehemiah. Yeah. So you are a certified beekeeper.
Yes.
A biologist. So before we even go into this, tell me about your path to making your life surrounded by animals.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, raised on the south side.
You're from where?
Atlanta.
Why this hand came in? He said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
From Atlanta. I grew up really just out in nature. I was one of them typical kids in the 90s, like in the backyard, flipping rocks, going in creeks, like just exploring out in nature. I had a passion for nature ever since I could remember. My mom was the type of mom, I would bring stuff in the house and try to keep it in my room. My mom like, boy, you done lost your mind. If you get that out of my house, typical black mom, not liking animals and stuff like that. And so I love my mama though. Happy Mother's Day.
Of course. Happy Mother's Day.
Did that. I went to school at Claflin University at HBCU in South Carolina, where I met my amazing wife, by the way, as well there.
Shout out.
I studied biology, minored in chemistry. And when I graduated, I thought I wanted to be a vet. Honestly, that's what I thought I wanted to do. And then I studied underneath a vet for a little bit. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, he gone. He gone, y'all. He gone. The internet be really playing games, but he was there. But he did say, I'm from, he definitely, Summer Styles, he definitely said, I'm from ATL, ho. That hand came in so naturally. That's what made it so funny. I think Mercury might be in microwave. Mercury be doing whatever it want to do. Mercury be doing whatever it want to do. I don't think this is a YouTube situation. This is absolutely a internet situation, but it's not a YouTube scenario. This because we on StreamYard, and StreamYard is bringing us to YouTube. So we gonna give Ray a second to get it back in the mix. Did you guys grow up around nature? Because I know for me, we had a big backyard. We had like a little house with a big backyard. And I would act like that backyard was a Richard Attenborough special. I would be riding around on my bike. I would decide like today we are going to be looking for anthills. And I would literally go around on my back in the backyard on my little huffy bike and try and like dig out ant hills and look for the larva and the queen bee and stuff. And like I remember one time we found my friend Alyssa was at the house and we found a baby squirrel, and I tried to take care of the baby squirrel. My mom didn't come back with the milk fast enough. The squirrel died. I was always trying to save animals. Then I had ducks. I had 2 ducks for a little bit. And then we went and released them at the lake when they got too big. I had rats. It's what kind of pets I didn't have. I was always trying to have a pet. So I feel you on stressing your mom out with the animals, because I was definitely about that life. I feel you. So we back with the new name.
Sheesh, right. Updated name.
Nehemiah from ATL, ho. We're going to laugh about that a lot. So You are a smart man because you was biology and chemistry. But what was it about the vet training that made you say this ain't it?
Yeah, I just didn't want to cut dog nuts all day. I was like, I'm not trying to neuter dogs all day. This does not seem like, this is not, crocodile hunter type of stuff I thought. And so I graduated and really I had an experience with the Lord that kind of changed my life. Like I had an experience with God that changed my life. And I was led to start studying George Washington Carver. And George Washington Carver is like one of my favorite. My oldest son's name is Carver, right? After him. And so he was a plant and nature enthusiast. And he, everybody knows the story. Over 300 different inventions from the peanut alone, soybeans, all these.
They say that he had his nuts cut.
Say that again? They say what?
They say that George Washington Carver, there's a rumor that he too.
Yeah. That he was castrated.
Yes.
Yeah, there was. It's a book, Amanda, you should read. It's called The Man That Talked with Flowers. It's like a really short book. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I got a couple copies. Yeah. But it's a phenomenal book about him. And then I started working for a wildlife removal company. So, I'm looking for a job and I'm like, oh, they get paid to catch animals? Okay.
Wait, pause. You said you had a spiritual awake. Like what happened? Do you talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, let's see, I'll give you the condensed version. All right. So I was my mom was like, boy, you need to come to church. You're looking bad. Right. And I'm like, okay, I'll come,
Cool.
And I went to the church and the pastor was talking about fasting, like it was about to be the top of the year. And he's like, hey, you should, we're doing this 21-day fast. And I'm like, I need to detox. So I'll try it out. That won't hurt nothing. And I kind of like was at a point in my life where my life was like not going the way that I wanted it to go. It was going really downhill, low key.
What age are we talking?
This is 22, 23, 22, 23. Yeah. And I did
downhill, like you are starting pimping, like or downhill. Because there's a range of downhill.
Yeah. No. I wasn't that. Downhill for me was like, addicted, had drugs, alcohol, not progressing in life. I wasn't, no job. And just like, I was
no direction.
Lost. I was lost. I was real lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the fast. I did like 21 days, and I was really strict with it. Like no meat, no sweets, like no sex, no nothing. It was like for 21 days. I really.
So you cold turkeyed.
I did, and it was like the second week. The pastor was talking about like, yo, it's not about the food. This isn't a diet. Focus on like praying and reading your word and stuff like that, and because if you just give up food, then you're just dieting. And so I'm praying one morning, Amanda, like for real. And it's like the presence of God came into my room. It was better than like any Molly I ever popped, right? It was better than any, it was like, it was though, I'm just being real.
That was so...
It just was though, for real. It was like,
because I was gonna ask what drug, and I said no, Amanda, don't ask what drug.
But it was better than any of those experiences. And it was like, wait, I'm in the bedroom by myself alone. It's like, nobody made this up, and it's like my mind started changing almost immediately, and I had like a repentance, like I felt sorry for the things I did in the past, I'm like, and then it hit me like, well, if God is real, then I need to be living for him. Like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? And then really gave my life to Jesus. And ever since then, honestly, things been kind of going up for me. So.
How old are you now?
How old you think? How old I look?
You're black. I can't. You could be 26. You could be 55. I don't know.
36.
36. How's 36 working out?
Oh, 36. I feel like the older I get, the better.
36, 37 is a good time. That's when it starts feeling like, oh, I think I got my
Yeah, I'm
swagger
trying.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it starts
Yeah.
feeling like something. 36 and 37 start feeling like, oh, I may actually know a little something about what I'm doing now.
A little bit, I'm starting to,
You know, like
Yeah.
I could actually do this. So you have two sons.
Yeah.
What are their names and ages?
Carver, who is 7 years old, and then Arrow, who is 5 years old.
And they are very involved in the content that you create and in the world of nature that you have made for them. And so can you tell me more about, like, you have animals at the house? Like, what is the environment?
Yeah, so we just bought, me and my wife, we just purchased last year like a 12-acre property out here in Douglasville where we have like,
Can I come?
yeah, please, you gotta come. You got to. We would love to have you. We have it's 12 acres. I have honeybees. I've always had bees, since I started getting into this. We got
I've always had bees. Like, what you mean you always had bees?
I mean, since I got into the wildlife, honeybees are my thing. I love honeybees. They're amazing. They're amazing.
I need to get me some bees.
Yeah, you should. They're easy to take care of too, honestly. They're not hard. I like animals that aren't like dependent on me for their survival. Like they can go out and live on their own.
Yeah.
And so bees are like that. I got you.
Because I got property for bees.
Say
That's
that
like
again.
a thing. I said where I live, like a lot of people have like bee, like the,
Yeah, the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It's really not. Seriously.
I love bees. I be saving bees all the time. I feel like they rock with me because they know that.
Yeah.
So you always had bees. Okay, what else?
We got sheep. We just got sheep. I got 13 sheep. I'm a shepherd, and my wife is a shepherdess.
All right. Wait.
Yeah.
So I am having my own spiritual awakening right now.
Uh-huh.
One of many, but my latest is happening like literally right now. Anyone who's on my Patreon, they just saw a whole video about it this morning.
Okay.
And I was saying, I guess it's time for me to read The Alchemist again. And The Alchemist is about a shepherd.
Yes.
And then here you come talking about you a shepherd. And yesterday I was in the middle of having to make a big decision and an eagle started flying towards the house.
Seriously? Where do you live? What state you live in? Not
New York.
New York. Oh, they got eagles out there? That's wild.
Bruh, a full eagle. I'm not gonna go caw because just so y'all know, they be making that up. Eagles don't even sound like that. That's how falcons and hawks sound. Eagles sound crazy. They sound like they really sound a mess. And so it was just coming through, and it was so regal. It was a regal eagle, and it had like these big wings, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm on the phone with my business relations manager, and I'm like, there's an eagle. I'm like, I know what I have to do. I have to find my spirit animal book and find out what this means. And it was insane how specific what the eagle means had to do with what I was dealing with. And she's like, if anybody else had said to me, I made this decision based on an eagle, I would look at them crazy. But because it's yo ass, she was like, this makes perfect sense. Yes. So I can't speak to what the decision is that I had to make, but it requires leaning into spiritual. And I believe that when coincidences happen, it's God saying you're actually on the path. So this is yet another coincidence because I'm in the midst of a shepherd, a real shepherd. So what do you do with the sheep? Do you do anything commercially with it?
Nah, not yet.
But is there like a plan to, or do you just like having the sheep?
Sure.
I just want the sheep.
No. So I read this book. It's called Who Not How, right? And so when you want to get things done in life, like who can do it, not how to get it done. And I'm somebody that I don't want to cut the grass, right? But I want good fertility in my soil for the vegetables and long term, right? I'm in the building soil. I want like it to be nutrient dense environment. So this ecosystem here at the 12 acres is going to be really rich. And sheep are amazing because all they eat is grass, number one. right? They don't need anything else except for minerals. And so they cut the grass for me. They're like John Deere for me, you know? Like they go out, they cut the grass, they fertilize the grass with their feces because they're a ruminant animal. So they're like cows. They got 4 stomachs, just like a cow does. And so they eat the grass, they're able to extract all the nutrients out. Then they spread it out, they urinate on it, and they trample it, and then I rotate them to a different paddock. So it's called rotational grazing. So I move them around to different areas, and it just builds the fertility. And then they're for meat as well. We're into healthy eating, and you know, ground lamb is like expensive, low key, but it tastes really good. So it's for multiple reasons, though. Honestly, multiple reasons.
The sheep lawnmower. That's next level, bruh. The sheep lawnmower, that's next level. So, you got sheep.
Yeah.
So what do you do with 12 acres of land? Like,
that's a good question. You ask really good questions, Amanda. You ask good questions. We bought the property because we've been looking for like 4 years on a hunt for a property, but it's been a 13-year dream for me and my wife. But during these last 4 years, we were looking for a specific property because we have a nonprofit. It's called Cultivate Roots Coalition, where we teach single parent household we teach fatherless youth principles through nature. So we teach them beekeeping, agriculture, soil science. But the thing is, it's not just, I love bees, I love sheep, I love chickens, the goats, I love that. But what's more important is like the life principles. There's principles that God has put within nature to teach us about life. You know, like inside of every seed is a forest, right? If you really think about it, inside of each seed, it's an entire forest inside of that seed. Just like inside of each human being, there's greatness. But you got to be in the right environment. That's the soil. You know, you got to get watered correctly. You got to get the air and the nutrients. And so we teach them principles through nature. So that's why we got the property, honestly. And they already have like some buildings on it, Amanda. Like, you got to come see it.
I have to come. You just made my heart explode in my chest. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And so is it an organization where they come and stay? Like what are the buildings?
That's the long term. The long term is where we'll have a summer. So it'll be a year-long program, right? Where we partner with school system, juvenile detention, a lot of different areas, whoever, churches, whatever, right? But we want to have buildings where they can stay on the property overnight. But right now we have 2 nature education centers. So they'll come and we teach them, you know, and then they go home, you know, but we stay in contact and mentor them throughout the year. But long term, that's what we want. Yeah.
I would literally come and volunteer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Remember, I said it. Okay?
Oh no, we're gonna write
all the witnesses here. Remember, I said it. And then you'll be like, "Where is Amanda? She said she was coming here to help." And then you find me with the sheeps, or I'm with the goats. I love me a goat.
Yeah,
I love me a goat. I really want.
Goats?
No, I had bad curry goat once in 1995, and I will never have it again. I will never have it again. The thought of curry goat just, my stomach is like, remember 1995? Do you remember 1995?
You really got the year though. That's crazy.
Because I remember it. No, I feel like if I grew animals, I'd have to just go full vegetarian. Like, I don't even feel like I could actually kill the animals. Like, I know this chicken. This chicken has a name. This chicken's name is Patrice Lumumba. Like, I can't.
Yo, that's what I was telling when we got the sheep, right? And I was driving back when my son's with it.
Oh.
And I was telling them, like, it's going to be food one day. I always tell them, like, these aren't pets, guys. These aren't pets. They are livestock, you know? But they don't. They got names.
I was going to say, they like, that's Cletus.
Yeah.
That's Frou Frou.
Cletus, though.
You in Georgia. You are in Georgia.
And so
so tell me, how have you seen your kids like grow and change with these lessons with the animals?
Yeah. I'll start with one. So my oldest son, Carver, right? He's like very intelligent, very, every parent thinks that their children are the best, right? But mine are like really special, right? But Carver, when he was young, he used to be afraid of ants. Like he would walk outside and see an ant, and this boy would start freaking out, like running the other way, crying.
Where
screaming.
do they get these things from?
I don't know. And I'm like, wait, this is my son. Like my son can't be scared of ants.
One day, all of these ants will be yours. Yes.
And so, I just tied something in my brain too. So my other son, Arrow.
Did you just figure out where the fear came from?
No, I just thought of something else though with ants. Ants are important in our family. I just realized it. My other son, Arrow.
No, we got it. I want to know why they're important in your family.
Okay, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Arrow, what he ended up doing, he had a problem with like my one son is really compassionate. My other son is like he can.
Is he the second? This is the second kid, right?
Yeah.
Out there.
So he's an ant killer, right? Like he's known. He likes to stomp on them and kill them, right?
Okay.
And so for him,
that's the fighter. That's the one.
Yeah, Arrow. I mean, his name is a weapon, right? Literally.
Oh, his name is Arrow. ARROW.
AARO. But yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, Arrow. And so, for him,
Nehemiah, you a funny dude. Did you know that?
I get it every now and then.
Okay, because I don't think you be trying to be funny, but you funny. And for coming from a comic, take that. That's a real compliment.
Appreciate it. Yes, I got that on my books. Good. But so for Arrow, teaching him with the ants, we're teaching him about compassion. Like, hey, these are actual creatures, yo. Like you just going around killing them. Like chill, relax. But for Carver, use it as an opportunity to overcome fear, right? And so one day, my wife ain't like it, but one day I had a cockroach. That's the only thing I could find. And I had him hold it. It was like almost dead. And we were out there for literally almost 2 hours trying to get him to get over the fear of insects, right? And I know it sounds like, bro, you
just triggered me because that's my fear.
You got your kids holding roaches.
Roaches.
It's crazy.
I'm deathly. I'm Carver. Carver is to, like, this is the SAT question in verbal. Carver is to ants as Amanda is to roaches. That's the analogy. Like it's an irrational fear. Yeah, it is. And I think it's like that with a lot of insects or just nature in general, right? It's like, you're 300 times the size of this creature, right? But it takes you having to overcome. And we have a saying around the house all the time: just do it scared. I don't care if you're scared, just do it scared. Do it scared, son. And so helping him overcome his fear of things with nature, and then as well teaching my other son stewardship, and taking care of the creation that God has given us through nature as well. And so those are two, slight examples that I have. Scared of any animals?
That's a good question. I don't like snakes. I don't like snakes. I got a video. What do you mean you don't
like snakes? Like they make you, they like give you the heebie-jeebies?
So, like, all right. So I have a wildlife removal company, right? And so we remove wild animals. We get calls all the time for snakes, right? Me and my partner, we own it. I am the scariest wildlife technician that we have, right? Like I am by far the scariest one. If it's a snake job, I don't want to do it. Like
you got to be like, do it scared, Nehemiah.
Yeah,
do it scared.
I literally.
I'm seeing you right now, like Bill Cosby in that Cosby Show episode where she's like, put it in the pillowcase, put it in the pillowcase. You might be too young for that, but there was a time. Yeah. It was a time, y'all. It was before he was a rapist. It was a time. Before we knew, at least.
Yeah. I like one time, Amanda, like I'm doing the removal of snakes for this lady, and she had one in her garage, and the snake started coming towards me. The people are there watching me, recording me, right? I start to run, and then I think to myself, like, oh, I'm getting paid to do this, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be the professional. So,
Wait, I need the scene. Are you holding like the pincher thing and the
I got
bag?
I got the pincher thing. I'm like moving stuff around. I move the fridge back and it comes at me. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh crap, no. Like just joking, y'all, just joking. Gotcha.
My mom used to be, I watched my mom go from being terrified of snakes
Yeah.
to over time, I'm gonna put it on me. I'm gonna say that
Okay.
it was me that did this. I've really been trying to instill the concept of like all of these creatures are souls, all of them. So for the most part, they not, even when they coming at you, they not coming at you like these crackers. Like they coming at you.
Right. They have different intentions.
They have different intentions. Okay. And my mom told me, like the other day, she sent me a video of a snake and she said, you know, in the past I would run, and this time I was saying, where are you going? It's
Wow.
happening.
Okay,
It's
look at
happening.
you.
Because from being up here at the house, like there's all type of wildlife around my house. And so the first time my mom ever saw a deer, she thought it was a donkey. So let's just start there. Okay.
Oh man.
Literally, I hear, is that a donkey in the backyard? And I'm like, why is there a donkey in the backyard? And I run to the window. That's a whole deer. That's a
It's
deer,
deer.
lady. I
I
know there's
know,
no
Mom.
deer in Grenada, but
Yeah.
so she stayed at my house, and all I'm getting is videos of deer. Like all I'm getting is videos. So now she's like one with the deer. She knows when the deer come out. She
Yeah,
knows
that's
what
sweet.
they own, etc. And I feel like over the years of me being like, don't be afraid of the lizard in the house. There's a lizard in the house.
Yeah.
Like we on its land.
Exactly though. Exactly.
But my mom is also simultaneously like a very nature-oriented person. But like you said, like she's scary.
Mhm.
Like, because in Orlando, I remember, I'll never forget waking up one morning to my mom screaming, what is that? It was a possum.
Oh man. Yeah, people don't like possums, boy.
I think they're lovely.
Yeah, they are. And they don't want to bite you. They're like one of the sweetest
Docile.
animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really are. They really are.
You know what else I loved? I love
What?
bats. I
Do
really
you?
love that. Yes.
You're like one of the first. Oh, okay. Bats are cool though. They
Cool.
really are though.
They're flying puppies and hamsters.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
They are. They're flying hamsters, and the bats in Australia are big as heck, and they
Yes.
literally are puppies. They're flying puppies.
Those things are huge though. I would love to see one of them. I'm not gonna lie. That would be cool.
So, do you have any plans to travel with Raised Wild outside
Yeah.
the country?
Outside of the country, I've never thought about that, to be honest with you. No. I mean, with my family, yes, but not for Raised Wild. No, I haven't thought about that. Thank you.
I just said Raised Wild again. What is
Yeah.
wrong with me? Oh my God. Raised Wild. Get it together, SEALs. I'm not good with names anymore. I think it's perimenopause. I'm not good with names for some reason. And my brain just be like, no.
Just forgetting. It's all good.
My bucket list, I don't have like a long bucket list. I have one bucket list that involves several things.
Okay.
And my bucket list is to either all at once or within the course of like a span of like a committed span of time, go to particular wildlife conservation projects across all over the world and like volunteer for like a week. So
Wow.
like they have a wildlife conservation project in Australia where they work with platypus. I want to go there for a week.
Wow.
Like they have a whole like panda orphanage in China, you know, I want to go there for a week. Lola ya bonobo in the Congo, like they protect and preserve the bonobos. And y'all know I don't play about my bonobos.
Wow.
Do you know anything about bonobos?
No.
That's your assignment. So my assignment is to read the book about George Washington Carver that you're going to send me.
Yep.
And then you go and look up bonobos. I think you're gonna be so fascinated. And they're actually featured there's a Disney nature. There's a Disney nature series that Angela Bassett did the voiceover for called like Queens of something. But it's about like mothers in nature. And they talk about bonobos because bonobos have a matriarchal society and they have evolved past fighting.
Have they? How do you spell that? How do you spell it?
Bonobos.
Bonobos. Yeah, that's crazy.
So they're one of the four. There's four major primates. There's gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, bonobos. And bonobos only exist in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And basically, they are the cousins to chimps. They and chimps, we share the most DNA with. 98.7% of our DNA we share with bonobos. And when the whites came to Africa and were also, besides colonizing, we're also doing scientific study, they discovered chimpanzees and bonobos. But they ended up focusing on chimps because they more represented their society. Because chimpanzees are patriarchal, they're territorial, and they're very violent. Bonobos are the opposite. Bonobos are matriarchal. They are not territorial. Like if a bonobo clan comes up upon another bonobo clan, they're like, do you need any food? Like they share.
Wow. Oh, I'm excited to research this. Oh, this is cool.
And I feel like they come into the curriculum that you're looking to do or that you're doing already around just how nature teaches us, right? Because a lot of the conversation around bonobos as it relates to humans is like, this is a model for how we can better replicate, like we can replicate this model for our society to create peace. Like, you know how instead of fighting, they have sex.
Yeah. Wow.
ATL, ho!
Yeah, that's wild. But I'm sure there's lots to learn from them. Just like it sounds very similar to honeybees. At the same way, because they're mainly females as well. You know, like you probably never seen a male honeybee. They look totally different. It's 95% of all honeybees that you see are females, and they do everything. Like they're the ones that go out and work. they do everything, right? I'm setting myself up right here.
The podcast bros are like, get him out of there.
I know. But it really is, though. There's so many principles and life lessons just within, I'm sure, the bonobos, the honeybees, sheep, lamb, you know, everything. And so I thank you for putting me onto that. Thank you. And I think that's a very great.
Wait, I missed you. I lost that. Wait, you broke up a little bit. Oh, the sheep is on the router. We got a goat chewing through a fiber optic cable. There it is. We back.
Okay. Yeah.
The goats are chewing through the fiber optic cables.
Yo, you are funny. You are really funny.
I hope so. I've been a professional comedian for 13 years. If I'm not funny, then I've got the wrong line of work.
Really
I left stand up, but it's still in me. I'm gonna always be a funny person because it's just this life. You have to laugh. It's so nonsense. You have to laugh. You know. Also, like I have animals, and my animals are hilarious. Like I don't know if y'all understand. Like my pets are hilarious. Just the stuff they do I'm like, what? You are absolutely my animal because, like, my cat Jedi loves cement. I don't know what it is about this. I don't know if
What?
it's because it's cool or what, but I saw a video where this lady was like, I give my cat cement time every day. And I was like, oh my God, I think I need to do that with Jedi. And when I open the door, Jedi be like, cement time, cement time. She just be she's bathing in the cement. I don't know what it is.
That's interesting.
It's very sensory, but I've always said I think Jedi is autistic, and that feels very sensory. Like,
Oh, not you have an autistic cat.
I mean, it makes sense. We know each other. We see each other. So what would you say? This is my last question. What would you say to folks during these times that are very frustrating, very uncertain times that we are in, particularly in the United States, but even in the world on a global scale? I feel like we are experiencing a real upheaval that is very unsettling for us. What would you say to folks who may not think nature can be a part of bringing some stabilizing? Where can nature fit into their lives?
Yeah, I think of it as almost like zoom out, right? Take a second and zoom out, because even if you look at nature itself, right? While us as humans in the political and the, different systems are going crazy, everything right now, but the birds are still birding, the grass is still growing, the bees are still buzzing, right? They're not focused, they're not stressed about any of that, right? And so I think it's good to just take some time, even in a stressful world that we live in now, to take some time, get outside and just observe. Just look at the grass. Honestly, like, I have fallen in love with just grass, right? And just seeing how it flowers and how it grows.
Grass is not good for lawns. You know that though, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I'm the guy that don't like to cut grass. I don't.
We're going to have this organization coming on called Crop Swap in LA. And what they're doing is they are an organization that is replacing people's lawns with crops, so that they are now instead of having a front yard of lawn, you will have a front yard of vegetables.
That's really cool.
And then they also have another organization in LA that does that with succulents. So like,
I like succulents too.
Yeah, because it's hard to kill a succulent.
Yeah, it really is. You suck with plants if you killing succulents out here.
There you go. You can't spell succulent without you suck. Well, how can people get involved? How can people support the work you're doing that is so incredibly awesome and necessary?
Yes, so if they follow us on Raised Wild, we do have some good projects coming out. We got a docu-film coming out called The Boys and the Bees, that it's going to be amazing to watch. We also have some things coming out with our nonprofit. So if you follow our page, we'll be sending everything out that way. We do have, like, on the page, you can click to sign up, to find out more and stay subscribed and all of that type of newsletter stuff like that. So that's what we have going on right now. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. This was fun.
So fun. I saw a gopher the other day.
Did you? I've never seen a gopher.
How long?
I've never seen like a real gopher. Like, not a real.
I'm about to show you, because this bad boy, this was a big baby, okay? And I really was just sitting outside and was like, when something moving your peripheral?
Yeah.
And you're like, something moving in my peripheral. What is that? And I look up, and this big baby was just there looking back at me. Well, it was like acting like if I don't move, she won't be able to see me. It's like, nigga, I see you. You a big gopher. Like, of course I see you. Okay.
We got a lot of woodchucks up here.
That's a gopher.
Nah, those are different.
No, they're the same.
Gophers
and woodchucks. It's just called something different.
Is it?
Okay, let's Google.
I'm about to
Google
check that.
Raised Wild. Is a
So
gopher a woodchuck?
now I'm
No.
betting money. I'm
A
betting money.
gopher
They're
is not the same as a woodchuck.
not.
Okay,
Yeah.
I stand corrected. You should know. I don't know why I had the nerve to question you when you are an expert. I apologize. While both are burrowing rodents, they belong
Yeah.
to different families and have distinct characteristics. Woodchucks, also known as groundhogs or whistle pigs,
Yes.
are
Yes.
marmots in the squirrel family. Gophers belong to a different family of rodents called Geomidae. You see what happens when you have your own show. You bring an expert on, and then you argue with them about their expertise. That was a shameful moment for me right there. All right,
It's all good. We all do it. But what did you see though? What did
you about to see? You about to see right now? I had to load it in to the
You might have saw
system.
probably
All right, here you go.
Probably saw a woodchuck or a whistle pig. That's a funny name.
Whistle pig is nuts.
Oh yeah. Yep. Where is that?
It's gonna zoom in. It's gonna zoom in.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that nose. Look at that nose.
Uh-huh. And he's just chilling over there too.
So what do we think? Whistle pig or gopher?
Yeah, definitely whistle pig.
Okay, y'all. We saw whistle pig. Oink, oink.
Yeah, definitely. Where was that? That was in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's my crib. All right.
that's
Gophers
nice.
are smaller. All right. I'm going to have to go look up in my spirit guide of animals crossing my path. You know what? Actually, I remember when I did look it up. That's what confused me. When I looked it up, it said gopher or woodchuck. It's the same spirit guide coming across your path. That's why I thought it was the same. Because when I looked at my little book, I said I had an eagle cross my path. What that mean? And then I had a gopher cross my path, and it said gopher or woodchuck. So same meaning. Okay.
God.
Well, yeah, I be having animals like in the winter. It's cool because you can see they're in the tracks. You can see their tracks in the snow.
Yeah. See,
So you're like, oh, y'all was busy.
Yeah,
It'll be
get
like
that here.
deer tracks, raccoon tracks. I'm in a fight with the raccoons right now, but we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. Yeah, they really playing with me right now with the trash cans, but we're gonna work it out. So thank you so much. This was such a treat. I am going to come to the farm.
Okay, bet. We'll have you. We would love to.
I'm gonna have the time of my life. Like I just want to live a petting zoo experience. Like,
Yeah.
do you have dogs?
Nah.
Really? No dogs.
I'm not into the pets like that. I told you I like animals that produce something, honestly. And now I will get a dog eventually if I need one to protect the sheep, but I don't think I need it based off of the setup. So
fascinating. Are you gonna get a donkey to protect the sheep?
No, I thought about that too. I don't know.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say border collie, like, oh, actually, look, Anna, right here. Yeah, I saw a border collie demonstration in Ireland, and it just changed my whole life.
Those border collies are amazing, though. They are amazing. They really are.
They're like athletes.
Yeah. But they just have to do something. So if I get a dog, it has to have a job. It gotta have a job around here, man. You gotta yeah. Chickens lay the eggs, you know.
It got to have a job around here, y'all. It got to have a job. He's like, I got a wife. I don't need a companion. I'm good. I'm good. Well, thank you so much, Nehemiah. This has been such a pleasure. And y'all, make sure you go follow Raised Wild, or if you're trying to remember it like me, Raised D Wild, and get into the lifestyle that they got going on, because it really is a beautiful one.
My boys wanted to come say hey real quick.
Hi! Hello!
This is Arrow.
That's Arrow. Where's Carver at?
Come over here. Come on.
Hi, Carver! Y'all are so fabulous. Thank y'all for letting us into your world. And y'all are so brave and so sweet and compassionate with the animals, and I love to see it.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
All right, Amanda. Have a good one.
The babies are so... Okay. That was fabulous. Oh, man. Dang, I don't even want to talk about terrible stuff now because that was so fun, right? That was so fun. I don't even want to talk about terrible stuff now. And now we got to talk about terrible stuff. Ugh. Now we got to talk about terrible stuff. Well, all right. Shout out to Nehemiah Ray. That was really great. Did that make your day? Because that made my day. That was really great. And he has the best laugh face ever. His whole face is involved in the laugh. Whole face. Whole face. Okay, hold on one second. All right. Let's get into our Blackurate news. Let's do it.
Blackurate news. Politics. Blackurate news. Pop. Culture. Blackurate news. Sports. Blackurate news. Justice.
All right. So, as we begin with our Blackurate news, let's start off talking about this guy. So Trump is in the Middle East, y'all, and this has been fairly interesting to watch because I think the girls is fighting, all right? The girls is fighting. Here's the signs that the girls is fighting. First of all, Trump negotiated with Hamas to release IDF soldier Eden Alexander. He did not include Netanyahu in the negotiation. And supposedly, because of this release, they are going to now try and get aid into Israel. I have a feeling that basically Trump, who we know is a very petty, small-handed man, feels some type of way about Netanyahu doing some type of something behind his back. And now he's like, okay, I'm about to just, flip on you. And we know that there is no honor amongst thieves. So it was always going to end up going this way in some type of way or form. Even the way that we're watching like Laura Loomer, who's always loomed over Donald Trump like, oh my God, we love you. And is now saying, you know what? That plane from Qatar, not cool. But when you see Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting there talking about, I don't think that we should be over there in Israel fighting countries that we don't know and just not liking them simply because we were told not to like them. Once I saw that, I said, oh, it's flipping. It's flipping because these people don't never do the right thing for the right reason. So if they saying the right thing, it's because they feel like somebody did them wrong. That's the only reason why they do the right thing is because they're trying to get back at somebody. So what we are watching is the girls fighting. And then your man's Donald went on over to Israel. He went on over to the Middle East. He is over there right now. And he ain't got no plans to go to Israel on his agenda. He is there talking to all these folks in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. They just did an entire arms deal with the UAE, which is also its own sketchy business as well. But oh, sorry, I meant to say letting aid into Gaza, not Israel. Sometimes I be talking fast. So he also, as you remember recently, talked to the Houthis and was like, all right, we're not going to mess with y'all no more. We're not going to mess with y'all no more. Now, the irony of this is the same Donald Trump, by the way, that in his last presidency literally did a Muslim ban. And then he got into bed with the Saudis and started doing, I forgot what it's called, but it's like sports washing, where the Saudi government puts all this money into sports, trying to make it look like they're like the good guys, but not for real. And now he's in bed with them. We all know about the late Jamal Khashoggi, who is the Saudi journalist. I mean, the Saudi Arabian journalist who went into the consulate and never left. And we know that they had some deal with Jared Kushner, his son-in-law. We know all of this is definitely in the mix, which is always weird to me because I'm like, but you was just saying that you don't go down with. You was just saying that you don't rock with the Browns. I don't understand. I don't understand, but it's fine. You know, it's very Cameron, very your whole crew switch siders. I come through, they be like, hey, Cam, riders. Yeah. So this all adds up to he gonna get his war. That's really what I see happening right here. He gonna get his war. And it's quite possible that it may be against Israel. Because, you know, Qatar, again, serves as liaison between talks with Hamas, and they serve as the liaison between talks with the Islam Brotherhood in Iran. And now you getting $4 million planes or $400 million planes, or however much that plane costs from Qatar. Because what they're trying to create, they need a war. America makes its money from arms. And so there's a world in which this has now flipped to now the U.S. may not be squad with Israel, which is why I always say, stop talking in absolutes. Remember when Jasmine Crockett the other day was like, Israel and America will always be together. Stop talking in absolutes, particularly around people that have no roots. Please. So that's where we at right now. Over there in the Middle East with your boy. Orange Face Jones. That was funny. That was funny. And, you know, they're going to start I just feel like unless Netanyahu figures out some way to swing this his way, shorty swing his way. Sure looks Zio to me. Now, would you please swing his way? Unless he figures out how to do that, I feel like maybe Netanyahu would then try and squat up with Putin, but they don't rock with each other. So, like Fatima said, let's just hope that aid is let in. We know for a fact that Israel is starving Gaza. That is not a question. That is not a theory. And we know that it's been going on for a year. It's been going on for a year. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how that is showing up in a court case in the UK. But first, I want us to, again, talk about keep Burkina Faso out your mouth. Now, I showed y'all this image yesterday. Al Jazeera and, by the way, other sites like BBC, etc., are all pushing this. They're all pushing this. Why can't I talk? So BBC, Al Jazeera, Western media starts pushing this. Burkina Faso army militias killed 130 members of ethnic group, Human Rights Watch says. I told y'all, no, this is some BS. This is not what y'all think it is. I know it ain't, because we know better than to just take things like this as bar none when we have already seen for the past few weeks manufactured consent around trying to take down Burkina Faso, which is trying to lead the movement for the entire continent of Africa to take down Western imperialism. And sure enough, I be knowing. Because if you read the Human Rights Report, what actually was happening was that the army led and participated in a fight against an Al-Qaeda affiliated group. Yes, an Al-Qaeda affiliated group for the support of Islam and Muslims called Jama'at Nusrat al-Islam wa al-Muslimin, or JNIM, carried out a series of attacks. Okay? Now, when you see this general thing, oh, the Burkina Faso army led and participated in the massacre of more than 130, possibly many more ethnic Fulani civilians by pro-government militias in the western Boucle du Mouhoun region on March 25th, that leaves out the fact that the quote-unquote civilians were members of this Al-Qaeda affiliated group. Okay? Now, they tried to say, oh, the massacre around the town of Silenzo was during Operation Green Whirlwind 2, a major 2 weeks long campaign led by Burkinabe Special Forces that resulted in widespread civilian deaths and massive displacement of Fulani people. However, they leave out that this Al-Qaeda affiliated group was involved, and they tried to suggest that the Al-Qaeda affiliated group came in to save these people. Now, come on now. All right? They targeted villages. They assisted the military, killing at least 100 civilians. That's what they're claiming. So I'm going to tell you what I think this really is. What this really is that this militia was sent in by the French and the Americans to look like they were a part of the Burkinabe military and to stir up and cause civilian death that would somehow create a seed of doubt in the Burkina Faso people. This is not new. This is not a fresh tactic. This has been going on. This is the continued effort by CIA and by, these special intelligence forces to use psychological terror of people by literally killing people. They even did this within the Panthers by just even sending lies to each other. So the U.S., absolutely, Delisa, the U.S. and Europe have a price on Burkina Faso's leader, Ibrahim Traore's head. And I'll even show you, this is when you know it's funny style. This is when you know it's funny style. When they have footage. Okay, I'm going to tell you why I believe this is funny style. They are in the sticks, okay? They are behind God's back. They are not in no very easily arrived at land. They got somebody in there capturing footage of this fight. Let me tell you something. All that is right there is, hey, I need you to send us this footage. I need you to send us this footage. I mean, it's so basic and obvious. So don't fall for it. Do not believe what you are watching, because these are the same people that you are watching every day say that the genocide you're watching is not a genocide you're watching. So if they're not going to say that that is what it is, well, baby, then I can't believe you when you tell me that this is what it is. Make sure to stay smart, y'all. Stay sharp. Stay sharp.
AmandaLand.
60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
All right. These South African, I call them refunizers, because they claim them to be refugees, but baby, they colonizers, okay? The refunizers done arrived in the United States of Nomerica. Let's take a look at them coming in.
Welcome. Welcome to the United States of America. It is such an honor for us to receive you here today. This is the land of the free. I'm Chris Landau. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm the Deputy Secretary of State of the United States. This is my friend Troy Edgar.
Yeah, I'm the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security. And again, welcome. So great to have you guys here.
When you have quality seeds, you can put them in foreign soil and they will blossom, they will bloom. And we are excited to welcome you here to our country where we think you will bloom, and we will hopefully allow you to have fulfilling lives for your children, and then we will bloom and we will benefit alongside you. So thank you very much for...
Let me just say, y'all, when I make a white man voice, that's the voice I'm making. I feel like when all of us are impersonating white men, that's the white man voice that we are making. He is literally the official white man voice. That is who he is. Now, you might be wondering, well, why are South Africans coming to the United States? Well, let's see what Trump has to say.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it.
It's not happening. Let me tell you what is actually being attempted in South Africa.
So I'm very interested when you talk about we and they. We're roughly the same age. I was 12 when Madiba was released from prison, and I was 14 when the election happened. I'm a medical doctor. I work sometimes 160-hour weeks. I work sometimes 18 hours a day, and I own property because of that reason. And it sounds to me that you're suggesting that I should do all that work and come to this point in my life and now just hand away my property. And that concerns me.
You know, you are an exceptional case. If you were to stand up and say, I went to school and I am a medical doctor and the property I have is because I went to school and I bought it. But most of your people didn't buy any property, they inherited it. So it's an exceptional case. No, you can disagree, but the reality is that you are in possession of a land that was stolen from us. And we want it back without any apology. We want that land back, and we are going to work together. I can tell you now, whether you are in denial or not, the demand for the land is growing and people are becoming impatient. And we don't want Zimbabwe here. We don't want Zimbabwe in this country. It has to be done legally, procedurally, in a manner that is not going to put the country and the economy in a disaster. We have to talk about it. We have to say, how do we, in a proper manner, make sure that everyone benefit from this land?
What? This is the, listen, y'all came through, you had your fun, you got your wealth. It's a wrap. That was Julius Malema. So Julius Malema he's a politician in South Africa. He's the founder and leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, which is a communist political party. They're known for their red berets, and they have like rallies. And Julius be talking, because there was at one point they were saying like, oh, but you need to pay us for the land, and he said, no. How you stole the land, then you want us to pay you for the land you stole. How'd that work? He said, no, you give us reparations, then we can have a conversation about giving you some money. And by the way, the reparations, he said, come to the total of $5 trillion. When he referred to Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe, they said, we're coming to take your land. And they came and took the land. And yes, people were absolutely unalived in that process. And so what he's saying is like, okay, we're not gonna go that route if you don't make us. And that is the difference. When I talked yesterday during the PSA about violence and how when you're in a violent environment, sometimes violence is the only option. What has been created in South Africa as an environment where there are at least some Black folks in government who say, listen, we don't have to go back to a violent environment if you don't want to. We can get this right in the right way, but don't think we're going to let you wrong us. That is what he is saying. And I, for one, am all about it. And he is also all about Ibrahim Traore. Let me fix my flag. He's about Ibrahim Traore in a big way. So shout out to Julius Malema and shout out to South Africa continuing to work to right the wrongs that have been done to their people and to hold these feet to the fire. And no, there are no South African farmers being genocided. Also, just go back to where you from. Y'all don't even speak English. Y'all still speak Dutch. Like, just go back there. What? Go back to Holland. Go back to where they speak Dutch at. The Netherlands. Go back there and speak Dutch. Y'all be having dual passports talking about we don't know where to go. We don't know where to go. Yes, Rolando. Go home, Roger. Go home. Nonsense. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about this. I was going to talk about how there is an interesting, different kind of energy going on, and it's starting to turn up around challenging Israel through the courts. But also, when you challenge through the courts, you also are very much expanding the conversation beyond that. And there is a UK-Israel weapons case that has popped off. All right. Today starts the 4-day case brought by Oh, wait. Back up. I forgot about this part. We got to go back to the South Africans because I forgot about this part. Y'all, I forgot that the Episcopalians said, no, get somebody else to do it. Y'all, the Episcopalian Church has literally said, we are absolutely not going to take in these Afrikaner refugees. Even though y'all be giving us grants to take in refugees, we're actually gonna not renew our grant because we're not taking these folks in. Okay, so Sean Rowe, the Most Reverend Sean W. Rowe, said, just over 2 weeks ago, the federal government informed Episcopal Migration Ministries that under the terms of our federal grant, we are expected to resettle white Afrikaners from South Africa, whom the U.S. government has classified as refugees. It has been painful to watch One group of refugees, selected in a highly unusual manner, received preferential treatment over many others who have been waiting in refugee camps or dangerous conditions for years. Jesus, I love when they pull out Jesus at the right time for the right reasons. Jesus tells us to care for the poor and vulnerable as we would care for him, and we must follow that command. Right now, what that means is ending our participation in the federal government's refugee resettlement program and investing our resources in serving migrants in other ways. It should also be noted that the Episcopalian Church was also very much a part of and tied with the late Reverend Bishop Desmond Tutu. Bishop Reverend Desmond Tutu, I can't remember the order of that, but he was South African and very much fighting against apartheid in his ways. So they not with that. They said, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Ooh. Shout out to my Anglican church people. I went to Episcopalian church growing up. My grandmother was singing all up every weekend in the Anglican church. My mother went to Anglican high school in Grenada. Get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Oh, man. Lord have a mercy. All right, now let's talk about this. So there's a UK Israel weapons case popping off. Now, they tried to shut the case down a couple months ago. A judge tried to throw it out, but it came back into the mix because these folks is not playing around. Today started the 4-day case brought by co-claimants Al-Haq, a Palestinian rights organization, and GLAN, the Global Legal Action Network, against the United Kingdom supplying parts for the Israeli F-35 jet, which is like their main jet. Like that's like their favorite baby that they be really trying to like run things with. Let's listen to one of the lawyers speaking outside of the courthouse.
Coming here today, my name is Garrod O'Queen. I'm director of the Global Legal Action Network, and we are delighted to support Al-Haq in bringing this case today. We're here today because the UK government continues to supply weapons to Israel, even as it commits relentless and ruthlessly imposes famine on Gaza. What is happening in Gaza defies belief. Leading jurists, legal experts and scholars across the UK and internationally have been clear. This is textbook genocide.
Yes.
Just last week, Joseph Borrell, the EU's former top diplomat, called it such and described it as the largest ethnic cleansing operation since the Second World War.
Shout out to the white lady in the back with the flag. Shout out to the white lady in the back with the flag, the old white lady.
We are seeing families burned alive in tents, amputations without anesthesia, and children's malnourished bodies no longer able to heal from the wounds inflicted on them by Israel. Orphans are surviving alone amongst the ruins, and entire families are being annihilated in their homes. And yet, the UK government invokes international peace and security to justify sending parts for Israel's warplane of choice.
So this is the part that we have to address. This idea that it is sufficiently acceptable to continue to supply Israel with weapons, etc., in order to protect the world. That is the narrative that they've chosen. This is a very similar narrative that is used by police in the United States, who very comfortably say every time they are faced with a black person that is holding a weapon, even legally, that they fear for their lives. When we hear these narratives, even if they're not saying it directly, what they're saying by inference is that literally black and brown people existing with arms is a danger to everybody, so we need to put them down. And in the case of Palestine, what they're mostly armed with, aside from Hamas, the people of Palestine are literally just armed with living. They're armed with existence. Their existence is what they're claiming is a danger to the world. And it's true. It's a danger to their world. It's a danger to their imperialist view that white supremacy can continue to wield the powers it has in order to uphold political and economical power. And by Palestinians continuing to exist, they are a weapon against that happening. And every time that we continue to support them, we are actually helping to every time we continue to support them, we are helping to support their army. Yes. And then you do that, that's supporting you. So I am really glad to see this happening. I'm really glad to see that they did not back down from this. In September of 2024, the UK suspended about 30 out of 350 armed exports licenses to Israel following a review that found there was a clear risk certain military exports to Israel might be used in violations of international humanitarian law. But of course, then they did some slickish. Carved out an exception for F-35 jet components, citing its importance to international security, again, and have been allowing the parts to be supplied to Israel via the global spares pool and F-35 partner countries. By the way, all of this is despite the International Court of Justice finding that there is plausible risk of genocide being committed against Palestine and Gaza. But I do believe that something is shifting. Something is shifting in a real way, because now we're seeing even like the single digit IQers who have been very kind of, it's not my business, saying, maybe it is our business though. Now we're seeing the interest convergence happening between Donald Trump and factions of the Middle East that would actually benefit Israel being out of there. So there's a version of this where things turn for the worst for Israel and their efforts to continue a method of apartheid and starvation and genocide simply because their greed has been outgreeded. Yeah. So we shall see. And I will always keep a glimmer of hope, because if Palestinians can, then, I mean, what reason do I have not to? Now, last but not least on our list of things to talk about today, name them. Name them! Okay, what I mean by name them is this. New York State Senator Jabari Brisport is saying the important part out loud. He's saying the names of the oligarchs who are running the show. Take a listen.
It's past time we begin naming out loud the billionaires quietly pulling the strings at every level of government. This budget is the product of their influence over Governor Hochul. They include billionaire Andrew Tisch, a Hochul donor who grew his family fortune by lying to Congress about the harmful effects of smoking cigarettes. Today, his net worth is nearly $1.3 billion, nearly twice as much wealth as it would cost New York to ensure all recipients of SNAP food stamps had at least $50 a month for food, a moderate proposal that Governor Hochul chose not to fund as food prices rise. Then there are donors like John Katsimatidis, the oil CEO who funded both Hochul and Trump. He has a net worth of $4.5 billion. That is nearly 8 times the size of the proposal Governor Hochul forced out of this budget that would have raised the wages of human services workers to match inflation. But even his massive fortune is dwarfed by that of Wall Street billionaires Marilyn and Jim Simmons. These Hochul donors hoarded more money than it would cost to build and implement an entire statewide universal childcare system. Notably, not only did Governor Hochul privately negotiate against funding for universal childcare, but under her budget, childcare workers will receive a pay cut this year. And the state will underfund existing childcare programs. While the public will suffer, these billionaires and their heirs got what they paid for when they bankrolled her campaign. A governor in their pocket, committed to preserving tax.
Okay. He said, I'm going to tell you about it. All right? I'm going to talk about it. Now, the reason why this is so important is because we keep talking about oligarchy like it's just some concept. No, an oligarchy is a ruling class that is running. No, an oligarchy is a ruling class that is running a government, a country. They are in control. Politicians like Governor Kathy Hochul are basically just their minion. And the vast majority of politicians in position are in these positions as the faces that are pushing the paper, but they're not making the decisions. So it is time that we find out who is actually making the decisions. Instead of writing, ringing, and running up on these politicians, them people is who you need to be writing, ringing, and running up on. Them the ones. Okay. Them the ones. It's a very real reality. Why do they get to live in anonymity? Why do they get to just be in the back? This is what I was saying during the election. I kept saying, why is everyone trying to put all of their energy in the Democrats? The Democrats are not the ones calling the shots. Find out who are the donors. Find out what they're doing. And you need to be talking to them. And I was saying this as somebody who is not a Democrat. That's why it wasn't like I'm going to go be talking to them. I'm not a Democrat. But the people behind the people are the ones pushing. The people behind the politicians are the ones pushing those politicians. Yes, Miriam, they are puppet masters. What he was just showing us is how these people have accumulated all of this massive wealth, but yet consistently the budget is being cut or parts of the budget are being rejected that exist to actually help the people. Parts of the budget that these people just have in their bank account casual. So shout out to Jabari. We should have known when his name was Jabari that he was going to come with it. And he had what looked like a black, red, white, and a green pin on there. And I don't know if that's a Palestine support pin or not. But yeah, Jabari said, oh, look at Jabari hanging out with our boy Zohran. Okay, so it probably is a Palestine support pin. I'm scrolling to see if I see him at any Palestine type situations, gatherings, protests, and whatnot. Nonetheless, I feel like that's what, oh, he don't rock with the Dems like that. Oh, well, he like Jabari. Jabari said militarized police stormed the campuses of Columbia and City College, New York. This is last year on Tuesday night, pepper spraying students and assaulting them. We need our leaders to acknowledge what happened regardless of how much money they receive from APAC. Ooh, okay, Jabari. We should get Jabari on the show. I didn't see the NYPD. And he has this video that he posted.
And are you at all worried that in the future, police brutality cases against protesters might be made?
I didn't see the NYPD use excessive force yesterday.
Okay, JB. We with you. We rock with it. Andrew Jones, always here with some extra info that we need to know. Jabari Brisport is always at Palestine Support and is in the DSA. The DSA is the socialists. Yeah. the New York City Democratic Socialists of America. All right. Shout out to Jabari. Look at that. So that's the show, y'all. Let's get into a PSA and get on out of here. I got somewhere to go today. I got to go to the Black Girl Magic Ball, where we will be honoring Black girls who are magical. That's where I'll be going today. So shout out to my homegirl, Mahogany Brown, for inviting me through.
AmandaLand.
PSA. You know, all of this comes back to racism. You know that, right? Like, all of this comes back to racism as just an effective tool to keep certain people in power. And they have used racism in so many ways. It is the most pliable, malleable, effective tool for them to do that with. They've used racism to keep everybody else sick. They've used racism to keep folks uneducated. They use racism to keep folks hungry. Like, they're able to significantly affect the entire world just on this principle of white is right alone. To watch these South African people arrive in the United States and act as if this is not like, this is so blatantly racist. It's like when something happens and you're like, that's racist. You know, like, you just be like, oh my God. Like that little kid, that's racist. When they asked homeboy who was there greeting them why these refugees were acceptable and not others, he said in his white man voice, well, you know, we wanted to, accept refugees who are easily assimilated into the country, which is exactly what we saw after Ukraine popped off. At the same time that the Ukraine war popped off, this last one, there was, of course, the continued effort of migrants to come to the United States, whose countries have also been destabilized by the United States. Haitians, whose countries have also been destabilized by the United States. And they were consistently thwarted at the border, whereas Ukrainians were coming through in droves. I went to the border with an organization called It's About Humanity. I went to the border and I spoke with people who were at the border, trapped there because they couldn't leave, even though they'd filed their cases and are waiting on their asylum. And while I was coming back over the border, I literally watched some Ukrainians just come through and get to the other side casual. So sometimes all of this can seem overwhelmingly confusing and confounding and just a big kerfuffle of fuckery. But understand that it really all comes down to the white supremacist imperialist stronghold that was placed on this globe. And it wasn't always here. So it doesn't get to remain here. And to continue will require us perpetuating the idea that it has been here. But we know, as Raised Wild was as Nehemiah Ray was talking about how his son had to get over the fear of the cockroach was here long before white supremacy, and it's still here. So that lets us know that we can still fight. Because if the cockroach can outlast them, I don't see why we can't. You feel me? PSA. Hey, come on now. What's up, y'all? Show your love. Show your love. We had a good show. Show your love. Show your love. Yeah, I said, drop us a super baby. Thank you, Cecilia, baby. We had a great time today. We got to talk about nature. Nehemiah came through and taught taught us about being a shepherd. South African, shout out to you for telling them folks to give you your land back. That's whack that they took it in the first place. And now they got the chance to show their face and show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Drop a super for your girl. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Patrish, you really feel like this is one of the best episodes? Even best. Oh, wow! This is your first show! Thank you so much. Make sure you tell a friend. Okay, because we've been low on our viewer count for the past week. Usually we're at between like 530 and 600. We've been down here at around 430. I'm not really feeling that, but it's all good. We're going to keep on going and keep on growing. Shout out to all of my SEAL squatters who are here. Shout out to everybody on the rewatch. Remember, leave a comment after the show in the chat to keep the algorithm pushing this through, all right? Please leave it in the chat to keep the algorithm pushing through. And also want to remind you that you can share this with your group chats. So all of you all, I will ask that that's what you do today. If you felt like this was a great show, make sure that you take the link and drop it on your phone to somebody, whether it's in DMs or on your iMessage or you green bubble people, and say, hey, you should check this out. Please, because what we're doing here is really incredibly unique and special. And oh, wow, thank you, Ren, so much. And it means so much to me that you guys continue to keep showing up, coming through, and showing your love. So we got to continue to expand our community with the right types of people, all right? High quality thoughts. And I think that's what I'm going to start my series. That's what I'm going to call my series on Substack, High Quality Thoughts. I'm about to write a piece right now on Substack that I hope you'll check out. And even though it may share some of the thoughts that I'm talking about here, it's different to read than to hear the voice. So please make sure to subscribe to my Substack. It's Amanda Seales. And we also just got to remind ourselves that we need to keep reading. That's one of the things that we have to make sure that we continue to fortify ourselves with. All right. Thank you all again, and I will see you mañana.
30 seconds of stillness.
I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seales. Come on and join the Seales Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seales TV.